I'm here with Eric from Sennheiser at CanJam, New York City. You've got with you the new HD505. This one has stirred up quite a bit of interest because it reminds people in sound signature of your legendary headphones like the HD600 and the 650, but with a little bit of a twist. So what can you tell me about these?
Well, in order to understand where we're going, we have to understand where we've been. Actually, one of your reviews, the HD560S, is probably partly responsible for this. So the 560S was a way to get into that neutral sound that the 600 was known for. It had its own different, flavors imparted to it, right? It had a wider sound stage, but the spirit of it is there. It's like, hey, how do you get into this hobby with something that's can perform seriously without spending a ton of money,
right.
But also something that's friendly to the modders and the people who want to trade out cables and ear pads and the like. And
on that, what is the price point of this guy for the people watching?
So $279. $279. So you're into a great sounding reference headphone for $279. So whether you're kind of getting into the game or you're trying to fill out your roster, a lot of us are collectors.
Yeah.
You want that that cleaner option in your portfolio. That's a great way to do it.
Awesome. I kind of like the quote you said there. To know where you're going, you have to know where you came from.
Yeah.
But I guess that was kind of the goal, is like kind of getting back to that sort of reference sound that you guys are known for.
Yes, and it should be said, though, that the 560S, huge success for us, and this sounds a lot like it, but the community feedback was, can you do this and make it easier to listen to for a longer period of time?
Right.
Tonally and comfort-wise. I think they're a big departure from what the 560S was, because of the ability to listen to it for a lot longer. Now, if you love the 560S sound but have said, hey, I want something that's a little less fatiguing to listen to, okay, we heard you, and we did it.
Yeah, these are really, really great. Something a lot of people have been asking me is the naming for these. So these are the 505. How are you guys kind of like mixing up the naming scheme now? Because I heard that's kind of a new twist.
This is something we'll have to look forward for, because there's always going to be headphones that are part of our portfolio that break the rules, right?
Right.
But the point of rules is so that you can break them. For the longest time, most folks have agreed that, hey, you have a 500 series, a 600 series, an 800 series.
Yeah.
That doesn't change.
Okay.
Going forward, starting with this release, most of the naming will be as follows. If it ends in 2.0, it's going to be a closed headphone. This doesn't include in-ears. If the final two digits are 5.0, for example, it's going to lean neutral.
Okay.
If it's also like a 505 in this instance, it's going to lean neutral.
Okay.
Anything ending in 6.0 will be on the warmer side.
Okay.
Now, if you look back in history, you go, well, 560S, that wasn't warm sounding. No, you're right. We have to ignore that. There's
so
always
this is like
going
a
to be
clean
exceptions.
slate.
Yeah, clean slate.
Okay.
So in the future, when we launch new products, and we're always working on new stuff, we're going to try to follow that naming convention, but we reserve the right to break the rules if we have to. But yeah, the goal is to try to simplify it, and to simplify it, we have to make it a little more complicated to start.
I get it. No, I think it makes sense. So one more question, I guess, based on this. So this is kind of a clean slate in some ways, where you guys are doing things a little bit fresh. Does this kind of give us an indication of where things are going?
I think there's two ways to unpack that. One is the community around audiophile is stronger than ever, it's bigger than ever, and we've taken a more active part in listening to what people want. Now, they also lean on us to lead, right? When you buy a Sennheiser headphone, it's like, okay, I bought it because this is what I expected. So we do have to be ourselves, but we are listening to some of the things that the community is saying. Hey, we would love this, but try this. Okay, if it makes sense, we're going to do it. So that's one way to unpack it. The philosophy of being a little more in tune with the change in tastes, preferences. I think people enjoy more bass nowadays than they did 10 years ago, 20 years ago. The way we consume and even mix music has changed radically. The dawn of it was like Michael Jackson, Madonna, more bass heavy. And the 600 and 650, which we all know.
Still.
But the reason they existed was to be more of a reference tool. And so many in this hobby are seeking reference still.
Yeah.
So you will see us, and this is back to the second way to unpack it, is see us listening to the community, but also delivering the experience that sets the everyday headphone wearer from someone who's like, no, I'm an audiophile.
And this seems like something you could definitely use for both.
Yeah, we want this to be a bit of a gateway to the community. How do you give someone an HD800S when all they've known is like the free headphones that come with your phone.
Right.
They're probably going to go, okay, this is good, but there's more to it than that, right?
It's hard to jump right into.
It's hard to jump into. Some of these headphones that are sitting in the middle there are going to, grab that person and say, hey, what was that song that you loved on your other headphones that you listen to work out every day? Try it on these. You're going to hear it different for the first time.
Yeah, get them hooked in.
Yeah, exactly. And it has to be accessible. No one's going to want to join the hobby if they think the only option is spending $1,000, $2,000. Yeah, there are people that do that. That's fine. But the community the doors should be wide open.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So I think also while I'm here at the show, I'm going to interview you about the we can't talk about that yet, but there will be a video on that in the future. But for now, he's in shock. It's fine. This is probably a good time to end it. Eric, thank you so much for coming and talking to me.
Always a pleasure.
I'll see you at the next one. Guys, stick around,
We're
subscribe.
there.